Welcome back, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
We're back for another week of, I don't know.
True crime.
True crime stuff.
That's what we do here.
I want to come up with something fun to say, but I just don't have it. And honestly, this one's going to be a hard one.
It is.
Because we have talked about doing this one since the very beginning. Mm-hmm. And I know we're only 4 or 5 episodes in now. But this one is not only linked to one of us, but linked personally to one of us.
Yes.
Because this week we are doing the case of somebody who you were actually friends with.
Yes. I met this person working at Chili's when I was 18, 19 maybe. So, I don't know. When was that? Early 2000s, I guess? Showing my age
Hey.
here. You know.
I don't want to say anything about women
yeah.
your age.
So, this is definitely linked to me, so it might be a little more difficult, but
It's going to be a lot more difficult.
we've come across some things about her story online.
There's only really been one reputable channel that's covered it, in my opinion. There have been other people who have covered it, but they've been real short.
Yeah.
And I feel like it doesn't really
Do it justice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Only one channel did, but I think it was more focused on him. Mm-hmm. And this dude really is just
Awful.
I still cannot wrap my head around how she ended up with this guy.
Yeah.
This guy's an MMA fighter, if you want to call him that. They should have called him Tiny Tim or something close to that. He wasn't. I actually did go online and look at some of his fights, and I was not impressed. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I like the UFC. I like MMA, so I watch a bit of it, and I was not impressed by him at all.
Yeah.
Tiny little man.
Never even heard of him, so there you go.
Tiny little man. But, yeah, so bear with us. This is going to be a difficult one to get through. So this week, we are going to travel to Merritt Island, Florida. Mm-hmm. If you've never heard of it, it used to be a nice place.
Yes,
I don't know if I call it that anymore.
Merritt Island, Florida, very central Florida, very NASA associated, I guess.
Yeah, but Merritt Island, when I was a kid, it was nice.
It was really nice. It used to be really
nice.
It's
not so much anymore.
No.
But it's still a cool place to visit. But this week, we are going to talk about the case
of Alicia Campitelli.
Developing at noon, we're learning more about the man accused of killing his fiancée. Investigators say Philip Keller shot Alicia Campitelli, a popular piercing artist at a Brevard County tattoo shop.
He's accused of then calling 911 and lying about it. News 6's Mark Lehman tells us what the suspect did next when deputies confronted him.
A big loss because everybody was really loved her because she was really loved and she was a special person.
She was an advocate for recovery and addiction, and so she's literally helped save many people's lives here in this community.
She was in such an amazing place in her life. She was so happy and vibrant and ready to just really take on her future.
The most beautiful star among all stars. The most beautiful way to say her goodbye.
Red loved you all. And please stay strong.
To truly understand the story of Alicia Campitelli, we first had to understand the ground she walked on. Merritt Island, Florida, was never a typical tropical destination. It was a massive, low-lying peninsula of land squeezed tightly between the Indian River Lagoon to the west and the Banana River to the east. It was a place shaped by two vastly different, competing worlds. On one hand, there was the wild, untamed Florida of salt marshes, slow-moving manatees, and dense cabbage palms. On the other, there was the Space Coast, a region defined by the high-tech, metal-clanging ambition of NASA's Kennedy Space Center, located just a few miles to the north. Since the 1960s, this area was populated by a unique mix of hard-nosed aerospace engineers, commercial fishermen, military families, and beach-bound free spirits. The history of this land stretched back centuries before the first steel rocket gantry was ever erected. In 1605, Spanish explorer Alvaro Mexia mapped his intricate system of waterways. He recorded the presence of the Ulame people, the island's first known inhabitants, who lived off the rich marine life of the lagoons. Fast forward to the early 1800s, and the island took its name from surveyor Pedro Merritt, whose meticulous work helped chart the Spanish land grants. By the 19th century, Merritt Island had become internationally famous for its agricultural output, particularly citrus farming. Douglas Dummett, considered the father of the Indian River citrus industry, began shipping sweet, thick-skinned oranges from the island in 1828. For over a century, sweet-smelling orange blossoms and sprawling green groves dominated life there. It was a slow, quiet, agricultural paradise. Then came the 1960s. The arrival of NASA's Kennedy Space Center transformed Merritt Island almost overnight. The federal government acquired vast swaths of land, displacing several small, historic citrus farming communities in the process. This ushered in the space age, a modern era of exploration that shook the local windows with every launch. By the mid-2020s, Merritt Island's population sat around 34,000 people. It was a community where the median age was roughly 49.8 years, and the median household income hovered near $91,000. Covering roughly 17 square miles of land and 29 square miles of water, it maintained a relatively low population density of just over 2,000 residents per square mile. It was a place where neighbors still knew each other's names, and where the natural world was never more than a few steps away. The Merritt Island National Wildlife Refuge spanned 140,000 acres, home to more than 1,000 plant species, 330 bird species, and dozens of unique reptiles. It stood as a serene, ancient counterpoint to the high-tech launch pads nearby. But even as Merritt Island modernized, with projects like the new Cape Canaveral Hospital, it remained a place where the unexpected and the tragic could ripple through the community. In June 2025, a devastating crane collapse at the hospital construction site resulted in the tragic deaths of 2 local workers, reminding everyone of the human cost behind the area's rapid expansion. From its indigenous roots, through the golden age of citrus, to the heights of space exploration, Merritt Island was a tight-knit, resilient place. And it was in this unique, salt-air community that the story of a fiery, unforgettable young woman began.
Alicia Christina Campitelli was born on July 3, 1985. From the moment she could walk, she was a force of nature. Growing up in a close-knit, hardworking family, she was inseparable from her twin sister Alana. They shared the kind of unbreakable bond that only twins could truly understand. Navigating childhood games, school projects, and the everyday challenges of growing up on the Florida coast side by side. Alicia's early years were defined by an intense curiosity and a vibrant, creative spirit. She loved experimenting with colors, drawing, and sketching on whatever paper she could find. But alongside her artistic soul lived the heart of a fierce, unrelenting competitor. When Alicia and Alana entered the hallways of Merritt Island High School, home of the Mustangs, they did not take the traditional path. In the early 2000s, girls' high school wrestling was not the sanctioned mainstream sport it became years later. It was a gritty, grueling, male-dominated world reserved for sweaty winter afternoons on heavy vinyl mats, but the Campitelli twins refused to be spectators. With an unrelenting work ethic, Alicia and Alana joined the wrestling program. They did not just participate to prove a point, they wrestled to win. During the historic 2002 to 2003 athletic season, the sisters took the state by storm. Wrestling in the competitive 135-pound weight class, Alicia fought her way through the brackets to capture a Florida State Championship title. Her sister Alana matched her step for step, securing her own state title in her respective division. To this day, the athletic archives of Merritt Island High School honor the Campitelli sisters as the pioneers of girls wrestling in Brevard County. They proved to a skeptical athletic community that technique, heart, and raw determination belonged on the mat, regardless of gender. That same fighting spirit defined Alicia's adult life. As she entered her 20s, her creative passion took center stage. Her lifelong love of self-expression and her meticulous, precise nature led her to the world of body modification. She became a professional piercing artist, eventually joining the team at Da Vinci's Tattoo and Piercing.
Tattoos trigger our imagination. They say something about who we are, how we see the world from our point of view. They're a part of who we are, what we stand for, how we see the world from our point of view. At Da Vinci Tattoo, we understand these things. We'll capture the magic of your ideas and transform it into something really wonderful. Come see for yourself. It's only at Da Vinci Tattoo, where art comes to life.
Established in 2008, Da Vinci's had a clear mission: to cultivate beautiful, personalized artwork while maintaining the highest standards of cleanliness and professionalism. Their slogan, "Be true, be you, be tattooed," perfectly matched Alicia's own outlook on life. By the time the studio moved to its expanded location at 262 East Merritt Island Causeway inside the Merritt Square Mall, Alicia, now known to everyone as simply Red, was the heartbeat of the shop. Her nickname came naturally, born not just from her vibrant, fiery red hair, but from the electric, warm energy she brought into every room. A piercing can be an intimate, intimidating experience for clients, and many walked into the shop holding deep anxiety or fear. But Red possessed a rare, beautiful gift for putting strangers completely at ease. With her professional eye, gentle touch, and booming, contagious laugh, she transformed what could have been a stressful procedure into a moment of comfortable, empowering self-expression. As her manager, Rosie LeBoy, later recalled, quote,
"She was a light. Everybody who had contact with her, she literally has touched their lives. She was all about her job. She was very professional, very knowledgeable. To this day, people always ask for her. People made appointments, specifically, to be pierced by her."
End quote. But the strength Red displayed to the public was forged in the fire of her own private battles. In her youth, Red had struggled with substance abuse. Rather than letting it define her, she fought back with the same tenacity she had shown on the high school wrestling mats. At the time of her death, Red was proudly celebrating 5 years, 2 months, and 8 days of continuous, hard-won sobriety. Now, she did not hide her recovery, but instead, she used her journey as a lifeline for others on the Space Coast. She became an informal mentor, a safe haven, and an advocate for anyone trying to claw their way out of the darkness of addiction. She understood the pain, the slips, and the work it took to stay clean. She gave her time freely to help others find their footing. Her next-door neighbor and client, Sierra Williams, felt that genuine warmth every day. Quote,
"It's a big loss because everybody really loved her. She was really loved, and she was just a special, special person."
End quote. Red had built a life of artistic fulfillment, community respect, and a deep personal triumph. But as she moved into her mid-30s, a shadow began to creep into her personal life, one that ultimately threatened everything she had fought to protect.
In the months leading up to May 2021, Red met Philip M. Keller. Keller, a 43-year-old local mixed martial artist, had competed in regional professional fight cards, including promotions like Titan FC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this contest is a catchweight fight at 130 pounds, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This man walks in with a record, 2 wins, 3 losses. He's a wrestler. He weighed in 137.8 pounds. Fighting out of Orlando, Florida, here is Philip Keller!
In the local sports scene, he presented himself as a charming, ambitious athlete who was focused on his career and eager to build a stable, loving life with Red. Red, who valued loyalty and honesty above all else, wanted to believe in him. She saw a partner she could support, someone she could help build up. But as the months wore on, the stark reality of Keller's life began to show. While Red was deeply committed to her sobriety and helping others stay clean, Keller was spiraling into severe drug abuse. He began using MDMA, commonly known on the street as Molly, with increasing frequency. Red's home, a quiet apartment on Schoolhouse Lane near Woody Simpson Park on Merritt Island, became a battleground. Red, who had fought so hard to live her own life clean and sober, found herself constantly confronting Keller about his volatile behavior, his lies, and his drug use. She tried desperately to guide him, urging him to seek professional treatment and make better choices, but her efforts were met with stubborn resistance. In the weeks leading up to the tragedy, those closest to Red began to notice subtle, worrying changes. The normally vibrant, energetic woman seemed exhausted, carrying a heavy burden of stress and anxiety. Yet true to her resilient nature, she tried to protect those around her. She masked her fear and worry with her signature smile at the shop, refusing to let her personal struggles disrupt the safe, happy environment she created for her clients and coworkers. But by mid-May, the tension inside the Schoolhouse Lane apartment reached a breaking point. Keller's drug use had escalated to a level that Red could no longer tolerate or manage. The stage was set for a devastating, calculated act of violence.
The following timeline was reconstructed directly from Brevard County Sheriff's Office forensic reports, neighbor testimonies, and subsequent court admissions.
Friday, May 14th, 2021, 11:30 p.m.
An intense argument broke out inside the apartment on Schoolhouse Lane, and Red confronted Keller once again about his ongoing use of MDMA. Keller's reaction was cold, volatile, and defensive.
Saturday, May 15th, 2021, 12:45 a.m.
During the height of the verbal altercation, Keller walked away from Red and entered their shared bedroom. He located Red's personal handgun. Slowly, methodically, he pressed exactly 3 rounds into the magazine. Now, instead of firing immediately, Keller then hid the loaded weapon in a nearby closet. He returned to the living area to continue the argument, leaving the weapon staged for what he knew was coming.
Saturday, May 15th, 2021, 1 a.m.
Keller walked back toward the closet to retrieve the hidden firearm. Red, sensing the escalating danger, followed him. As she rounded the corner, Keller retrieved the gun, attempting to conceal it behind a household towel to muffle the sound. The first shot was fired. The bullet missed Red, tearing through the towel and embedding itself deep in the drywall. Terrified, Red scrambled backward into the living room. She dove behind the living room couch, desperately trying to use the heavy furniture as a barrier between herself and her fiancé. Keller did not pause. He closed the distance, walked over to the couch, and pointed the barrel of the handgun directly down at Alicia. According to the official state arrest warrant, Red looked up at the man who had promised to protect and love her. She cried out her final words, "Oh God, no." Keller coldly pulled the trigger twice more. The round struck Red in the head, killing her instantly. The actions of Philip Keller in the hours immediately following the shooting revealed a chilling lack of remorse. Rather than calling 911 or getting help from neighbors, Keller began a calculated, step-by-step attempt to erase the crime he committed and fund his addiction. At 1:15 a.m., Keller searched the living room floor for physical evidence. He located 2 spent shell casings. He threw one casing into the kitchen trash can and flushed the second casing down the toilet. At 1:30 a.m., he stripped off his sweat-drenched, gunshot residue-stained clothing and changed into a clean, dry outfit. At 1:45 a.m., Keller stole Red's car keys, her personal cell phone, and her debit card. Leaving her body behind the couch, he locked the apartment door and drove away in her vehicle. At 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., Keller drove to several local bank ATMs across Merritt Island and the Cocoa area. Surveillance cameras captured him standing calmly in the fluorescent light of each bank's lot, systematically draining Red's bank accounts. In total, he withdrew $1,481.50 of her money. At 6:30 a.m., Keller used the stolen cash to purchase a fresh supply of MDMA from a local dealer. At 7:30 a.m., he drove back to the apartment where Red still lay. He gathered the murder weapon, the remaining ammunition, and the original gun box. At 8 a.m., Keller drove to a commercial dumpster, tossing the gun box inside. He discarded the ammunition bag nearby. At 8:30 a.m., he drove to a quiet canal off State Road 528, the Beachline Expressway. Standing on the water's edge, he threw Red's handgun deep into the murky waters. At 9:15 a.m., to prevent her family from growing suspicious when Red didn't respond to their morning texts, Keller took her phone and sent a text to her relatives. Quote,
"Hey, just wanted to let you know Red broke her phone. That's why she isn't answering any calls or texts right now."
End quote.
"10 hours after the murder, Philip Keller placed a call to Brevard County 911. He attempted to play the role of a grieving and shocked fiancé who had just walked into a robbery gone wrong.
Brevard County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
I need help immediately. Looks like she's dead. Oh my God. Looks like she's been shot and been robbed. My house has been robbed.
Okay, sir. Calm down. Take a deep breath. Who is she?
My fiancée, Alicia. Please get someone here. The house is turned upside down. I just got home.
Is she breathing, sir? Is she conscious?
No, she's cold. She's cold. Oh my God, please hurry. There's blood. There's blood everywhere behind the couch.
Okay, sir. Do not touch anything. I'm dispatching deputies and medical personnel to your location right now. Stay on the line with me.
I didn't do anything. I just walked in. We were supposed to get married. Oh my God, Red, please wake up.
When the first Brevard County deputies arrived at the Schoolhouse Lane apartment, they found Keller waiting outside, visibly distraught. He immediately presented his carefully constructed alibi. Philip Keller stated to the responding deputies, quote,
I haven't been home since about midnight last night. That was the last time I saw her. I've been out partying all night, just driving around. I just walked in and found her like this.
End quote. But as forensic investigators stepped across the threshold, they immediately noticed details that did not align with a standard home invasion or robbery. Homicide detectives from the Brevard County Sheriff's Office quickly realized that Keller's timeline was full of holes. He claimed a random burglar broke into the apartment. Now, there were absolutely no signs of forced entry at any door or window.
He claimed he was away from the home during shooting, but neighbors near Woody Simpson Park reported hearing distinct gunshots at exactly 1 a.m. He claimed his previous outfit got too sweaty from being worn all night, explaining why he changed clothes. GSR, or gunshot residue testing, was ordered on the discarded clothing found in the apartment. He claimed he sold the gun 2 days prior to an unknown dealer in exchange for Molly. However, financial records revealed his ATM transactions occurred after neighbors heard the gunshots using Red's stolen debit card. The most damning piece of evidence came from the bank's surveillance cameras. Now, the footage showed Keller wearing the exact clothes he claimed he had changed out of hours earlier, calmly withdrawing cash from Red's account at 3 a.m., a time when he claimed he was simply driving around and had no idea she was hurt. Detectives needed an undeniable confession. They approached a close personal associate of Keller's, and under the strict supervision and authorization of Brevard County investigators, this friend agreed to place 3 controlled audio-recorded phone calls to Keller's cell phone.
Controlled call number 1, 2:15 p.m.
Phil, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. What's up? Dude, the cops are crawling all over the place. They're asking me about you, about the gun, about everything. What the hell happened in the apartment, man? I killed her, bro. I killed her high as fuck. I did it. What do you mean you did it? You shot Red? I don't know how I did it. But I can't live with myself knowing that I'm a piece of shit. I was super high on Molly.
Controlled call number 2, 2:45 p.m.
Phil, I need you to tell me the truth. Did she suffer? How did this even happen? We were arguing about the drugs. I went and got a gun. I put 3 bullets in the clip. I hid it in the closet. You hid it? Yeah, I came back out, kept arguing. Then I went back to the closet. She came around the corner. I shot her the first time and missed through a towel. Oh my God, Phil. She ducked her head and ran behind the couch. I walked over and shot her twice in the back of the head in cold blood. I did it. I'm fucking sorry. I threw the gun in the canal off 528. With the recorded confession safely in hand, Brevard County Sheriff's deputies moved in to execute an arrest warrant on the afternoon of Thursday, May 20th, 2021. They tracked Keller to a local waterfront spot along Sykes Creek on Merritt Island. When Keller saw the unmarked police cruiser and tactical units closing in, his fighter instincts kicked in, and he bolted. Keller ran towards the water's edge and, like a coward, leapt directly into the brackish, deep waters of Sykes Creek, attempting to swim to the opposite bank to evade capture. But the deputies did not follow him into the water. Instead, they quickly coordinated, lining both banks of the creek, and tracked his progress from the shore. And within minutes, exhausted from the weight of his wet clothes and realizing there was absolutely no escape, Keller gave up. He swam back to the bank, climbed out of the water, and was immediately tackled and placed in handcuffs.
Earlier tonight, Keller provided specific information relating to the crime to a citizen, who then contacted homicide agents. Deputies located Keller at a local establishment on Merritt Island, who, upon seeing their arrival, jumped into Sykes Creek in an effort to avoid law enforcement. Keller was detained shortly after entering the water and transported to Criminal Investigative Services, where he was interviewed by agents. As a result of the investigation, an arrest warrant was signed earlier tonight by a judge, charging Keller with first-degree premeditated murder. Keller has been transported to the Brevard County Jail Complex and is being held on a no-bond status.
In June 2021, a Brevard County grand jury officially indicted Philip M. Keller on charges of first-degree premeditated murder, grand theft, criminal use of personal identification, fraudulent use of a credit card, and tampering with physical evidence. Because of the calculated nature of the crime, specifically the loading of the weapon and hiding it in the closet before the murder, the state of Florida indicated it would seek the death penalty. For nearly 4 long years, Red's family and the entire Merritt Island community waited as the defense filed continuous motions, delaying the trial. All the while, Red's mother, Deborah Moore, her twin sister, Alana, and their family carried the heavy burden of their grief. On February 3rd, 2025, the legal battle finally came to a quiet, dramatic end. Rather than face a jury and the potential of a death sentence, Philip Keller entered a negotiated plea agreement. He agreed and pled guilty to second-degree murder, grand theft, fraudulent use of credit cards, and tampering with physical evidence. During the sentencing hearing, Red's family was finally given the opportunity to look Philip Keller in the eye and read their victim impact statements into the official record.
Deborah Moore.
Our hearts are so broken every single day. We still hear her laugh at our family gatherings, and it cuts like a knife because we know we will never hear it in person again. You didn't just take Alicia from us. You took a piece of all of our futures. It was not the end of her life. It was the end of our family's life as we knew it. We are sentenced to a lifetime of grief, while you get to sit in a cell and breathe. There is no forgiveness for what you did to my daughter behind that couch.
Alana Mae Marshall Campitelli.
She was my twin, my other half. Since the day we were born, we shared everything. Our first steps, our school years, our state championships on the wrestling mat. We were supposed to grow old together. The thought of her final moments, of her hiding behind that couch, crying out, "Oh God, no," while you stood over her, it haunts my dreams. You're a coward, Philip. You took a light that was too bright for your dark world, and you snuffed it out because you couldn't stand her strength. We will carry her name forever. You will rot in obscurity.
Following the victim impact statements, the circuit court judge accepted the plea agreement. Philip Keller was sentenced to 50 years in Florida State Prison. Under the strict guidelines of the negotiated plea, he was ordered to serve a mandatory minimum of 25 actual years before he could ever be considered for parole or early release. Because he was 43 at the time of the arrest, the sentence ensured that Keller would remain behind bars until at least his late 60s, if he survived to see release at all.
The shock waves of Alicia's death did not stay confined to the apartment on Schoolhouse Lane. When the news of Red's murder broke, a heavy, suffocating silence fell over Merritt Island and spanned to everyone who knew her. This wasn't just a headline on the evening news. It was a devastating blow to the very heart of the community. At Da Vinci's Tattoo and Piercing, the shop doors remained locked for days. When they finally opened, the space felt fundamentally altered. The booming laugh that used to bounce off the walls was replaced by the soft, whispered condolences of grieving clients. For her manager, Rosie, and her close co-workers, the reality of her empty station was almost too heavy to bear. Clients began leaving bouquets of flowers, handwritten notes, and candles right at the front door of the shop. Many of them were people Red had pierced, but just as many were individuals she had quietly supported in local recovery circles. To them, she was the person who had answered the phone in the middle of the night when they wanted to relapse. She was the one who had held their hand through their darkest hours. A few days after her passing, the community gathered to say goodbye. They chose to hold a candlelight vigil, but they made a collective decision. This would not be a somber, black-clothed affair. To honor the bright, unapologetic spirit of the woman they had lost, everyone was asked to wear her signature color. That evening, a quiet park on Merritt Island was transformed into a sea of red. Hundreds of people showed up, former classmates from Merritt Island High, local athletes, recovery mentors, co-workers, and lifelong friends. Many who couldn't attend watched and cried heavy tears watching the vigil that was being live-streamed. Those in attendance stood shoulder to shoulder, holding flickering candles that cut through the warm Florida dusk. The glow illuminated tear-stained faces, but it also illuminated smiles as people began to share their favorite Red stories. They laughed about her fierce competitive drive on the high school wrestling mats, her absolute perfectionism when aligning a piercing, and her ability to make anyone, no matter how nervous, feel like they were the most important person in the room. Her twin sister Alana stood in the center of that glowing crowd, surrounded by a community that refused to let Red's light be extinguished. As the candles slowly burned down, the crowd stood in a long, powerful moment of silence, sending a wave of love and grief out over the dark waters of the Banana River.
Fly high, shine bright. On angel's wings, you left this earth, with tears still in your eyes. For the loved ones you left behind, not given the chance to say goodbye. You are a bright light in all our lives, your kindness beyond measure. Your smile, your laugh, your caring ways will forever be treasured. Fly high with the angels, our dearest Red. Shine bright like a diamond in the sky. The most beautiful star among all stars, the most beautiful way to say goodbye. We will grieve your loss for quite some time. It is unbearable, this anger and this pain. When you were here, we felt only sunshine. Now we face darkness followed by rain. That rain is our tears, we miss you so. The darkness, our grief, we feel every day. We will never forget you, our beautiful soul. Memories of you will help us find our way. Fly high with the angels, our dearest Red. Shine bright like a diamond in the sky. The most beautiful star among all stars. The most beautiful way to say your goodbye. You are unique and rare, like a precious find. Our gentle, loving angel of love, forever cherished, forever missed, forever remembered, forever loved. So rest now, our angel, till we meet again, as we look up to the sky every night. We will know where you are at all times. You will be the star shining oh so bright. Fly high with the angels, our dearest Red. Shine bright like a diamond in the sky. The most beautiful star among all stars. The most beautiful way to say your goodbye.
Red loved you all. And you stay strong. And we need help. You reach out for help. Thank you.
There is a profound tragedy in the fact that Alicia's life ended because of the very illness she spent her adulthood trying to help others overcome. She had fought so hard to conquer the monster of addiction in her own life, only to lose her life to a partner who had surrendered to it. But if you look closely at the community she left behind, you quickly realize that Philip Keller did not win. He could take her physical presence, but he could not touch the profound, beautiful legacy she had already woven into the lives of everyone who knew her. He could not erase the 5 years of quiet, daily victories she had achieved in her sobriety. He could not silence the laughter that still echoed in the memories of her family, or untie the unbreakable, lifelong bond she will always share with her twin sister, Alana. Every time a young girl on the Space Coast steps onto a wrestling mat, knowing she belongs there because the Campitelli sisters cleared the path. Red is there. Every time someone in the local recovery community reaches for a phone instead of a substance, drawing on the strength Red modeled for them, Red is there. And every time a client walks out of Da Vinci's, looking in the mirror and feeling a little more confident, a little more true to themselves, her spirit lives on. Alicia Red Campitelli lived her life like a flame. Bright, warm, and utterly unforgettable. The violence of her final moments was a tragedy, but it was just a tiny, dark fraction of a life that was otherwise defined by a beautiful, roaring abundance of light. To her mother, Deborah, her sister, Alana, her co-workers, and the countless souls she touched along the eastern coast of Florida, Red's story was never about the way she died. It was about the incredible, brave, and deeply loving way she lived. And that is a light that no amount of darkness will ever be able to put out.
And that's the story of Red Campitelli. And I got to tell you, it still wasn't easy the second time around.
No, it wasn't.
Because this isn't our first time recording this.
This is not. The first time was...
Yesterday.
Yesterday was very, very difficult for me.
Yes, it was. I didn't like watching you have to be like that. But we got through it. We told her story. And from what I can tell, I think we're the only one who's fully told this story. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say that for certainty, but I couldn't find anything. You couldn't find anything. And it wasn't like we had to be there first. It was just, I don't understand why her story's not out there.
I don't know. I don't know if it's because it was so shortly after COVID or...
I have a sneaking suspicion that was it.
Or what, but I don't know. She was an incredible person, and her story deserves to be told.
Yeah, and I know a lot of times, I'll make the story about the person who did it, but in this case, this is her story. This isn't his. He's just a small part of this tale. But, I remember when all this went down and we were watching it on TV and just how much of just a little bitch he was when he jumped into the river. We didn't go too far into it, but it was a whole ordeal.
Yeah.
He jumped into the river like a big bad guy and came right back like a little girl.
Yeah.
Sorry, women. I don't mean to put you down, but I don't know what else to call them. So, I remember looking up this guy's MMA fights on YouTube, and I don't know how he gets the title of MMA fighter. He probably could have been beaten up by a 14-year-old.
And you watch a lot of UFC and all that.
He's not. There was nothing impressive there. This dude, the best day of his life would have been the day that he locked that girl down because she was incredibly good looking. What a loser. What a loser.
Yeah.
That's why I married you. I was like, I'm keeping this one. And he could have done the same thing, but he's so stupid.
She deserved better than that.
And I don't want to... Look, I am an addict as well. So is my wife. But I have to say this. I have never in my life heard of anybody being murderously addicted to Molly.
No.
Molly, the drug you take and you go listen to rave music at the club.
Yeah.
It just seems so weird to me that's the drug of choice that he had. I don't know. I've just never heard of that. I've never heard of that.
Me either. And just a little backstory on how I knew Alicia and Alana. I got a job at Chili's when I lived in South Carolina, only for a few months, and then I transferred to the Chili's on Merritt Island and moved back to Florida. Alana worked at Chili's, and her sister, Alicia, was up there all the time. We all became pretty close. I moved in with Alana, became roommates, and the three of us would go into Alana's closet and dress up in all her weird photography clothes like idiots and just have a great time. I don't know, girl stuff in our 20s, We all participated in the Chili's softball tournament together. And I just have a lot of great fond memories.
Almost 20 years ago.
Yes, a very long time ago.
Just so you guys know how old she is.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm older. So yeah, this was the story of Red, and it's a very sad story, but hopefully somebody gained something from this, or, you know, hopefully it was told the right way. And if, you know, her mom or her sister's out there listening, I hope we get your approval on this. We did our best. Megan really had a hard time getting through this.
I did.
But I don't know what else to say. This was a hard one. This was a very, very hard one. I don't want to do any more like this, so I have to watch you cry. I didn't like that.
Well, thank you, everybody, for coming and joining us on this episode.
That's right. And make sure you come back next episode. I keep wanting to say next week. For the next one. I don't know what it is yet. You'll be as surprised as we are. So what do you say? You want to get out of here?
I do.
All right. Well, I guess we'll catch you guys in the next one.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.